Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another stream of Plane Shift. Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? Oh, my face is a bit stuck. Why? My face is stuck completely. Okay. Better. Definitely better. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Calibrated and ready to go. So today we're going to expand the functionality of the city management with the guild ranking. Guild ranking is something I want to have based on the amount of materials that you are actually contributing, right? We need to decide. We need to design somehow this screen. We need to design somehow the screen, and I'm not completely sure how I want it, but at the end, pretty much is a list, right? Is a list of guilds or people and their current contribution. Now, one thing that I really need to think about. One thing that I really need to think about, and I didn't think about it yet, so it's all to be decided, is how does this really work, right? So let's say that we have our ranking, right? And so let's say the people are contributing resources, right? Like this, and let me make it a bit smaller just because. Oops, it's slowly destroying, but it's fine. So someone contributed like 4 wood, 5 leather. Someone else contributed 4 wood, but 100 coins. So I think that what we want to do, we want to transform all of this into a price, right? Yes. So I think what I need a function that is transforming that into a price, and then from a price. Hello, Michael. I'm pretty good. How are you? Hello, Hulam. Good afternoon. So we need to transform this material into price, and this price into ranking, right? But basically the price will be directly the ranking, right? So I think that's kind of easy. The only problem is how do we decide when someone, I mean, is there a, so let's take your names, right? So let's say that Michael has contributed 300, right? And let's say that after some time, Hula contributes 301, right? So he just adds 1 coin. So just the fact that he adds 1 coin, it will put him in front of Michael. But Michael then can contribute 2 coins and go in front of Hula again, right? So what I fear is that if there is no control, right? If there is no control, I think it will be extremely hard to have a ranking which is actually permanent. Well, let's say that is stable enough, right? That is stable enough. So people may continue to contribute stuff. And the other problem is the following: if I make it seasonal, right? Let's assume that I make it seasonal, so that I say the cycle is 30 days, right? The cycle is 30 days. And I mean, whatever I decide is going to be exploited, so I don't understand how to do it. Because if I do it this way, I say, oh, the cycle is 30 days, so you can contribute for 30 days, and then, and let's say the 30 days ends here, right? You can contribute for 30 days, and then there is 30 days of, or 10, I don't know, it's the same. Now, don't care about the number of days, right? 30 days of bonuses, right? So where basically you cannot contribute anymore, and you have your bonuses applied. Bonuses being, I don't know, additional crafting, more quality or whatever. There are a number of problems on this, because the first problem is that people may actually store materials before the cycle starts, and basically have all the materials ready, right? Have all the materials ready, and then on the first minute, right? On the first minute of the cycle opening, they will just boost the whole city to 100%, right? And that would be a big deal. I mean, it would be a big issue, because basically this blocks the ability for anyone to actually contribute more, right? Unless I do something that you can go over the limit just for the ranking. This thing needs to be reasoned a bit, because as it is, it doesn't work well. I mean, what works well is the boosting of the city, right? The boosting of the city, I think, is fine. So people can contribute, the city gets boosted, everyone gets the bonuses, all of that is nice. And I think there is no problem with that. The problem is, how the hell can we do the ranking of who contributed the most, considering that this is a fixed amount? And people can, I mean, all these values are so high that basically no one can reach them in one day. And so even if you stack, you know, a lot of stuff, but I don't want to make them super hard, right? I don't want to make them like an infinite grind. I want to make them like a reasonable grind. I think also depends a lot how strong are the bonuses that you get to be the champion guild, right? Because if the bonuses are like mild, right, then people may say, oh, I contribute to the city to get the bonus from the city, but then the bonus of the guild ranking, I don't really care. If I get it, okay. If I don't get it, it's not a big deal, right? While if these bonuses are stronger than the one of the city, then people will just rush for this. And again, my cycle doesn't work because it doesn't work for the reason that I just told you. The people will just collect all the material, and then on the first minute of the opening of the cycle, they will just... Also, I think that something that goes by days or dates doesn't really work well with people, because people may play, you know, at very different times, right? So it should be a continuous cycle. I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be based on dates, because it's very hard to. But at the same time, right? At the same time, if your guild is on top, then I need a way to reset it, because otherwise it will always be on top. I mean, if a guild is contributing for like 3 months, right, and this thing never resets, then it will be impossible for anyone else to beat it. Understand? Hello, Shaif. Hey, how are you? Welcome back. This is kind of an issue, though. The way I've seen it done in other games are, is through events, right? So basically, you have an event that is occurring on a specific day, and that event is basically giving you the ranking, right? So you run the event like in 4 hours, and whatever is the result of the event, it gives you the ranking, and the ranking is gonna stay for 2 weeks, right? And then after 2 weeks, you have another event which is the same, and so the guild can actually take over another guild, right? Shaif, what the hell are you saying? I don't understand what you're saying. I think I already thought that you were a bot few times in the past. I don't know if I already, but I don't know. Just say one more stupid or unrelated thing, I will just ban you completely forever, because I'm annoyed that you join and say random stuff, right? So you're probably a bot. You're just wasting time of people. So the point is, what is the best way to actually reach a ranking? Because I understand that, or we can split, or we can completely separate. Or we can completely separate the city materials from the guild ranking. The problem is that if we separate it completely, then will be what? Will be just a contribution. But you know, contributing just to contribute, I don't think is very fun. While contributing to boost the city, I think it's kind of nice. So you get a double bonus. You get a bonus because you contribute to the city, and the second because you get the ranking. So I think this is why I wanted to link, right? This is why I wanted to link this with this. I wanted to have like a number of days left before the next cycle, but again, the more I think about it, the more I think is hard to make it interesting, because I mean, if it's a long period, yes, but another way could be, Another way could be that you can contribute material at any time, right? You can contribute material at any time during this period. Because I could do it, you know, when a certain milestone is reached. But even if I do it when a certain milestone is reached, I think it may be exploited, right? Because imagine that I say, oh, when the city is fully boosted, or maybe when you reach, wait, I just had an idea. I just had an idea, and I think it could be a good idea. So let's say that you get a bonus based on the item that you have contributed the most. So actually there are like 6 items and we have 4 cities, right? At least we have 4 cities now. So it's a significant amount of possible rank 1, right? So you can rank 1 in infrastructure, you can rank 1 in hospitality, and yeah, that is probably the solution. That is probably the solution, my boys. That is probably the solution. So what I'm saying is this, look. I don't know, it could be one way. I'm not sure if it's the best way, but it could be one way. So the one way is that we have 6. Let me explore this concept and see if it works for us, okay? So we actually have 6 different categories, right? We have 6 different categories, and they have and they have different bonuses. So in theory, I could do a ranking by category, right? So I could say who is the biggest contributor in this category and this category, right? And then you get the bonus based on that. So you also have a choice, right? You kind of have a choice of your bonus, which is not bad, right? Which is not bad because there is an additional game mechanic. So you may decide that you want to boost crafting because you really like crafting, or you want to boost infrastructure because you really have, you like that, and so there will be a ranking by. The problem is that this becomes a very long list, right? So this basically becomes a list of people by. But I think that this will make it way less exploitable, right? Because I think that people will differentiate. So maybe one guy you see that infrastructure has been completely boosted, and or anyway, infrastructure is like 80% already boosted by someone else, and so you say, I will never make it, right? I will never make it because. Yeah, that's the problem though, because if you do it this way, then you are not motivated. Then you are not motivated to contribute in this category because you will get nothing out of it. Well, yeah. So basically, whoever gets to 50% first wins. Fuck. It's not working that way either then. Because imagine that here you have numbers, right? So guild 1 Guild 1 is at, let's do it in percentage. Well, I don't know if I want to do it in percentage, but yeah, if it's the completion of the 3 tiers, then is obviously in percentage. Because we know exactly how much it is, right? So you wouldn't say, oh, the Guild 1 is at 10%. Well, the Guild 1 is at 48%, right? So the Guild 2 is at 10%. Now, why should Guild 2 ever put, well, if it's 48, probably it can, but say it's 51, right? Why should ever Guild 2 put more materials on this category if anyway this one is gonna win because it's already, right? Is already above 50%. So I'm gonna remove that message, it's annoying. It's basically spam. Do you have any other ideas, guys? Do you have any other ideas? I mean, do you understand the problem, and do you know, and do you have ideas on how to solve it? It's not deleting it though. So if I decide that the maximum amount of materials that you can contribute is the total of the city category, we will have the 51% problem, right? Because people will reach 51%. Now, it's true that it may decay, right? There may be a decay factor. So it may actually go down, right? It may actually go down. It may actually go down, and if it goes down in time, another guild may take over. But this is also something else that we need to understand, right? So after you have unlocked one tier, how much time does that tier stays in that position? So are these materials getting consumed by the city? I would say yes, right? Because you give them, right? You give it to them to actually use the materials. So they will use them, right? They will use them. I don't know if they will build something. Potentially they will build something, but then does it decay because you don't have enough materials anymore? And so can the city actually go back to a previous tier? I think my original thought was yes, that the city can go back to a previous tier, but I think it will take quite some time, right? I think my problem is that there are no two forces pulling. There is only one force, which is the players, right? Providing material. There is not another force, unless the other force is the decay. But I think the other force must be the decay. I have no other. I mean, yeah, the city can be attacked But even if the city gets attacked, I think it's kind of unlikely that it's getting raised, that these materials are getting raided, right? I mean, it would be the best, right? That you have a bank of all these materials and the bank is getting attacked by monsters or by something outside, and so the supply goes down for that. But I think it would be easier if it's actually the opposite, that is kind of automatic. I mean, it is kind of automatic. I mean, I'm thinking to other games, right? And what happens in other games is that obviously the city get destroyed by someone, right? Or the buildings get destroyed by someone. So that's the way the city can revert back to a previous tier. Because doing it completely by decay... And also, how is decay working if how is decay working if people are already working on the next tier, right? Because we have, I think there are some fundamental problems here to discuss, because okay, people are working on tier, let's say that this is tier 0, right? Tier 0, well, let's say the city is at tier 0. And here you are working for tier 1, right? You're working for tier 1, you're adding materials. And at a certain point, you do it all. And tier 1 is completed, right? Then after that, you go for tier 2, and at that point, while you are working through your tier 2, so let's say that you just started, right? But you are contributing stuff here. We are saying that while this happens, tier 1 is decaying, so it's going back? I don't think so. I don't understand what can be the game mechanic to go back. Perhaps if you win against the tribe, the city can take material from tribes. Yeah, my problem at the moment, Hula, is not going forward. Right? Going forward we know, because it's people contributing material. My problem is how to go backward. Because if we don't have a way to go backward, then the cities will always be full, right? And there will never be a cycle. They will never go back. And so when you do it once, it's done forever, and we don't want that. We want a continuous game, right? So that the game continues endlessly. So yeah, the city could win against the tribe, you can take the material, but this is again going forward. I want to understand how to go backward. And one thing is decay, but decay, I mean decay consumptions, right? So that the materials are getting consumed, right? But even in that case, even in this case, right? How can I make this work? Because again, you are working on tier 2, so players are adding materials here. And what? Tier 1 is decaying? I think it looks pretty bad. Yeah, I think it needs to decay by time. Okay, let's try to think about this. Let's say that every day, well, every day maybe is a bit too much, but let's say that every 8 hours, okay, every 8 hours, so I will put a timer every 8 hours, right? I remove, I consume 2%. I consume 2% of the resources that have been added to that particular category, right? Because we go by category. So every 8 hours, I consume 2%, right? So if you are in the middle of a tier, in few days, you may get the regression, right? You may get the regression. And you may also say, fuck it, who cares, right? But then this means that somehow I need to take into account, because in my tables at the moment I don't have the materials when I don't have the materials, right? When the city gets his rank, I mean his tier, when he gets tier 1, all the materials are removed, right? And the city goes to tier 2. Like if those materials have been all consumed, at least it is how it is in the database. In theory, what I'm saying is that those materials should stay, and I should slowly consume them until, well, I can do it by percentage. The only problem is that if I'm consuming them, then how? This thing is weird. This thing is weird. Let me ask ChatGPT. Let me ask ChatGPT if he has any ideas. Maybe we'll give some random ideas that we may like, right? So players can contribute to one category. For example, infrastructure, right? And infrastructure has 3 tiers, right? 3 tiers with different bonuses. I don't know how I can make this a permanent cycle, right? So there is the problem, how to make it a permanent cycle. So basically how to consume resources at a reasonable rate, but at the same time, the problem is that even if I consume, do I have can I contribute back to tier 1 when I'm consuming? Or can I only contribute to tier 2, but then tier 1 is, or maybe while you are contributing to tier 2, tier 1 stops the decay. But that's kind of annoying, right? So what I'm thinking, if there is a timer that goes backward, and we can say tier 1 is reached, but now is depleted. Tier 2 is going on. Yeah, maybe we can deplete it, but we can still keep the bonus. and only if also tier 2 completely decays, then the city resets to 0, right? That could be one way. But it is the problem. I don't understand how to fix this problem. I don't know how. The problem is how to maintain, I mean, what to do with the tiers, right? What to do with the bonuses? What to do with the bonuses if I don't know. At the moment, I don't have a clear idea. To make the system continuous while balancing resource consumption and bonuses, consider a decay and upkeep system. Okay, this is what I told you. Each category starts as a base level and progresses to tier 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the player contributes resources and coins to fill a progress bar for each tier. Okay. When a tier is fully funded, it unlocks the bonuses that benefit the city. Okay, easy. This is what we do already, right? So that is our system. To prevent the city from reaching tier 3 and staying there forever, introduce the resource upkeep. Every real-time day week, a portion of the contributed resources is consumed to maintain the tier. If the upkeep isn't met, the category loses progress and can even downgrade to a lower tier. Yeah, what I don't understand is if this upkeep, right, is if this upkeep is the same resources consuming, or I have to add more of the same resources, because that will make it very annoying. Bonuses from higher tier remains active as long as the tier is maintained. If the city falls below the upkeep threshold, bonus gradually weakens instead of disappearing instantly. Well, there could be a way, yes, but it's harder to put in code, definitely. Occasionally, special events like storms, invasions, economic crashes can increase the decay rate or require urgent donations. Player could receive alerts like, okay, we have a problem here, we have a problem there. Yeah, this is all the stuff that I already told it. So the problem of this is this upkeep, right? To have an upkeep on top of the contribution, because you know you are already working towards level 2, right? And having level 1 DK is super annoying, because I don't know if I really like it. Unless, I mean, I prefer to have that when you reach level 1, right? When you reach level 1, you get the bonuses, and then level 1 is like a glass with a hole, and it's like a pool with a hole, and is slowly depleting, right? It's slowly depleting, but you still keep the bonuses. You lose the bonuses only when the tier arrives at 0. And if the tier arrives at 0, and here is the problem, right? It is exactly the problem, yes. Because if I do it this way, that when this tier arrives at 0, you may already be working on tier 2, right? And so basically you have a certain amount of time, or every time you contribute to tier 2, the tier 1 decay stops. So it's like if in this window I have two bars, right? I have the bar for my level 2, and then I have my bar for level 1 that is going down and is consuming slowly. But I still don't like it. I don't like the mechanic, right? I don't like the mechanic. I don't like the mechanic, really. A different mechanic that I'm thinking now could be this, right? Could be that a different mechanic could be that you always go up. You always go up, but there is a certain time where these resources are anyway consumed, right? And so when you reach the end, it just goes back to the start, assuming that those resources have been fully consumed. Understand what I mean? That could be a way, actually. So let's say that we have our tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, right? And what I'm saying is that you go up, 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 and here you get the bonus. Up, 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 and you get the bonus. Now, if you never go until tier 3, you basically keep tier 2 forever. You keep tier 2 forever. Yeah, and that's a problem, right? To keep tier 2 forever is a... No, because I was thinking, okay, you go up to tier 3 fully, and then that lasts a certain amount of time. So when you are, because the only real stop that we have is when all 3 are fully completed, right? This is when we have a real stop. So it's impossible to put more materials. So what we could say is that what we could say is that you reach level 3 and then it lasts, and then the bonus of level 3 lasts for a certain amount of time, and then it basically resets. I think we need a reset. I mean, there is no way. I think we need a reset. We need something that basically brings you back to the start. I don't know how often it should be. I don't know why it should, I mean, how it should happen, but we definitely need a restart after some time. The only problem that I don't know is if the restart is this. Or if the restart is this, right? So you go back the whole way to the to 0, or you reset tier by tier if no one is contributing anything, right? But the problem is that here you cannot contribute anymore, right? This is a hard line, right? You cannot go to the right here, right? So do you understand the problem, guys? Or not? Tell me what you understood and what you didn't understood and what you did not understand, because maybe it's something we can solve together, you know? Maybe it's something we can reason together. The way I see it as a player, I would like to contribute and then reach the bonus. And I would like that bonus to stay for a significant amount of time. I mean, not infinite, but for a significant amount of time, which rewards me for all the materials that I have contributed, right? So how much is that time? I don't know, but it should be at least equal to the time that it took me to collect, right, the materials. Then when that time is passed, I think I'm fine to go back to 0. But if I am contributing something to tier 2, yeah, exactly. The question is, if I am contributing to tier 2, then does tier 1 decay stop or not? I would say yes. Which is a bit counterintuitive, right? Because if you're using wood and stone and metal, I mean, obviously if you used it, you used it. It's not very easy. So basically I would like the player to get the bonus. I would like the bonus to stay for a certain amount of time. So that basically this goes back and consume itself. But then what how does the player know? Because there is no bar, right? If you are at tier 2, you're only seeing tier 2. You don't see tier 1 anymore. Right? You don't see tier 1 anymore. I mean, in theory you could click on tier 1 and see the decay, but I think it would be very hard to understand. If you see a bar that goes down, if you see a bar that goes down in tier 1 while you are working on tier 2, you will go like, what the hell is happening, right? What the hell is happening? Why my tier 1 is decaying and I cannot maintain it, right? And I cannot put material on it. But at the same time, if I say, oh yes, you can still put materials in tier 1 while you're working on tier 2, that would become a mess, right? They would become a mess. They would become a mess. So that I definitely don't want to do. That definitely I don't want to do. So I wanted to reach the bonus and keep it for a certain amount of time. Start to work on tier 2. I mean, unless we make bonuses that are completely unrelated between the tiers, right? But I think it would be very hard to do because we already have 6 categories, right? If I have to invent completely different bonuses for 3 tiers for each, I think I will not be able to do it. Because pretty much tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 is a boost of the previous tier bonus, right? Maybe the bonus is +1, Tier 2 is +2, tier 3 is +3, but it's the same type of bonus, right? So there can be a special one on tier 3 completion, but still. I think thinking about the decay is, I mean, I think it's not decay, I think is. So there should basically be a time, there should basically be a constant timer that is calculating this, but as soon as you add materials to tier 2, right, this timer stops. And then it restarts after a certain amount of time. And tier 2 will not decay because it's not reached, right? Do you think that the materials for tier 2 can be consumed? Ah, wait a second. What if we do this? What if we do this? I have an idea. What if we do this? While you are inside a tier, you see the consumption of the materials by time. So they actually reduce, right? They actually reduce. Yes, I think could be more intuitive, right? Because it could be more intuitive because if you see this bar, let's say that you don't contribute any materials, so that you already are at 60%, you don't contribute any material, right? You go there and you see that after a day, this one went down a bit. Maybe not much, but it went down a bit. And each of the materials has been consumed. Now the problem is that this will not be proportional to the number. That will be very, very complex. Will be very complex to do it proportional to the materials, because if these are 4 out of 10, I mean, if the total is not 10 for all three, then it's a bit of a mess, right? With this decay, a storage of overflow material might be good again, at least for tier 3. Else tier 3 we stay only 8 hours. No, because we said, I mean, it's just an example, right? But we said every 8 hours you consume 2%, right? So you need 50 by 8. You need 50, so you need 40 hours. What? You need 50 by, you need 400 hours. I mean, this is just an example, okay? Probably will be less than that. But you will need 400 hours before a tier fully decays. With this rule, right? Now 400 hours is how much divided by 24? Is 16 days. Well, maybe that's a bit too much. So I think it should be more like a week. Yeah, I mean, I think it should, by the way, I think it should depend by the number of players connected. So I think that this consumption should be tweaked by number of players connected. So that if you have 0 players connected, it basically doesn't decay. If you have 1 player connected, is decaying very, very low. If you have 300 players connected, it decays relatively quick. Now there might be a maximum value, right? But I think it should be based on. So you lose the bonus when the tier is fully empty. Yes, when the tier is fully empty. But you get the tier when the tier is, yeah, you get the bonus when the tier is full. Yes. So what I'm thinking is that you contribute and you get no bonus, no bonus, no bonus, no bonus, no bonus. Then you complete a tier. And when you complete it, right, so here you get your bonus, right? You, or I don't know if everyone in the game, probably everyone in the game, but anyway, that is another discussion. Anyway, you get a bonus, right? Someone gets a bonus. Someone gets a bonus. Then what happens is that if you do nothing, this thing will start to decay, but you lose the bonus only when it is fully depleted. And I would say there is no way for you to contribute material while it's going up or it's going down or not. No, in theory you can. So in theory, you know, if you want to cheat a bit, if you want to exploit it a bit, right? You get the bonus once and then you just maintain the minimum. Then it's like an engine that goes at minimum speed, right? So you just contribute a few materials to keep the tier up, right? So the tier is achieved and you keep it alive, right? So you never lose the bonus. But I would say that players will probably want to reach tier 2 and so say, okay, let's do a rush together, you know, let's do a rush together to reach tier 2. Then they reach tier 2 and they get here the other bonus. And at this point, losing tier 1 is basically impossible, right? Because you are so far away from it, right? But if you wait a lot, right? If you wait a lot, you start to go back. And when you are here, you lose the bonus for tier 2. The only problem is how to show that, right? Because I mean, we have the bar, we have the progress bar, right? We have the progress bar. The only problem is that I don't know how to show that the bonus is achieved. Well, we can have just something like bonus in effect, right? Bonus in effect or tier achieved or whatever. Because in reality, it's like if there are two bars, right? It's like if there are two bars. There is one bar that is the one that you achieved. Like let's say you achieved tier 2, and then there is another bar, and this is still in effect. And then there is another bar that is slowly depleting. And only when this is done, you lose this wall bonus that you got, right? Yeah, but can be the same bar, maybe two colors. Can be the same bar, two colors. Can be the same bar, two colors, right? So one color when you achieve it, and then there can be a very evident text that says tier 2 achieved, bonus in effect, right? Bonus present, bonus active, or whatever. City upgraded, or whatever. I mean, we can find a nice text. And then it slowly goes down. I just want to be sure that it's easy to understand, because if it's not easy to understand, another way we could do it is that you never lose it, right? But you never lose it. I mean, it never decays, but it never decays. It never decays is kind of tough, because it means that you do it once and then it never it never goes to zero. While I really prefer the people to be able to choose, oh, we want to keep the fate high in Ojaveda, right? For whatever reason. And so people work towards that goal and keep it high. And that fate in Ojaveda is providing, I don't know, magical healing fountains appearing in the city and allow you to heal fully instantly, right? Something like that. I don't know. While maybe in Amnedair you want the agriculture because you want to have faster respawn of the fishes, or faster or I don't know, whatever, faster respawn of the plants, or you want to have rain every day. I don't know, right? Maybe you want to have rain every day. And so you may decide which city gets what. I'm just thinking how visually this could, I mean, for the people to actually understand it, because I think it's a bit confusing. The fact that the bonus stays, right? The bonus stays, but the decay starts, I think is kind of confusing. And also, while it is decaying, you can still put materials, right? I think what he can do, you know what he can do, because removing a percentage of all the materials proportional, I mean correctly, I think is not very simple, because you may have items that are like 1 out of 5, and you may have other materials that are 1 out of 100. So how the hell do you... That is something I don't understand how to do it. So like, let's say that we have iron ore 2 out of 10, iron bars 10 out of 40, right? And coins 1000 out of... So the decay happens, right? So the decay happens. So the upkeep, whatever, decay happens. The consumption, let's go call it decay. Decay, I think, is a bad thing. It's consumption. It's not decay. It's consumption. So the city is consuming those materials. So how is my math? How is my math here? If I want to remove 2%, right? This will be a fraction off, and it may not work, right? Because if I want to remove, like if this is out of 5, this is out of 4, just to be annoying, right? If this is out of 4, how can I remove 2% of this? Is impossible unless I go fractions, but I don't know if I want to go fractions. What we can do, we can ensure that these numbers are always big enough. Yeah, I think we can do that. I think we can ensure that these numbers are always greater than 10. And they will be anyway, because these are, I mean, I think these numbers will be like 400, by the way, right? I think it's unlikely that one tier is like 10 items, right? So I think this will be like hundreds or thousands of items. Yeah, so probably that problem doesn't really appear, right? Doesn't really appear. That problem doesn't really appear if this number is high enough. So in theory, yes, I could remove 2%, right? I could take... Yeah, the problem is that if I'm already at 2, by the way, 0.2 is 20%. So in theory, I should remove like 8 from here, 16 from here, and 800 from here. So actually 800 I can do, 16 I cannot do, and 8 I cannot do. So this will go to 0, 0, 200. Right? So the new situation will be the new situation will be 0, 0, 200, right? This is after decay. It is after decay. So after decay, so if you return 8 hours later, you will see this, right? You will see this. Now it has to be balanced in terms of numbers that are actually reasonable, but and if you come back after another 8 hours, right? If you come back after another 8 hours, then it will be 0, 0, 0, and you lost the tier. So yeah. The only problem is if the tier, I mean, the problem is when you are at the top, right? You will need to start with a multiple of 50 for a 2% consumption. Yeah. Yeah, but even if it's lightly rounded, I think I'm fine. What I wanted to say is that I don't want to be heavily rounded, right? Like 2 out of 4, I have to like take 50%, but I think with I number enough. But yeah, we can go multiple of 50. I think is a good idea. So the problem is when you are at the top, so you reach the tier, you just reach the tier. You just reach the tier, right? And the consumption start to happen. So 2 hours after, you are already fucked. No, because we said that he has to go to 0 to lose the bonus. Yeah, he has to go to 0. He has to go to 0 to lose the bonus, which I think is a very good idea. Yes, so basically you are consuming everything before losing the bonus. I think that's a good concept. I would like to keep that concept. Right? So you can boost it, and then you can leave with the bonus for a week or 2 weeks, right? Without doing anything. And see how it is. And then maybe you say, oh, this bonus sucks, right? I select another category, and I try to boost this one and see if this one is nice, is good enough, right? If I like it or not. Yes. So the only thing that we have to say then, so when this happens, we have to have a very, very visual thing that tells you that the bonus is in effect, right? It should be very, very clear that the bonus is on and is decaying. I think this way may work. If then the numbers are reasonable, that people can play. I mean, it should be worth it, right? The bonus should be worth your contribution. Otherwise it's useless. Otherwise, no one would ever do it. But the point is, how do I do this now? In this mess. Set the progress of the current tier. Yeah, the problem is that when I finish tier 1, the game is immediately showing me tier 2. The game is immediately showing me tier 2. So I don't have any more visibility on tier 1. And that is a problem. And it is a big problem, actually. It is a big problem. Okay, let me do the simulation 1 second, right? Let me do the simulation 1 second. So we, yeah, I think we have a logical problem here. It will not work this way. Unless you can see the previous tier, I don't think it will work. Wait, let me just do it a bit larger because I need more. So let's say that you have fully achieved tier 1. So this one is actually highlighted, right? Tier 1 is highlighted. I fully achieved it. So as soon as this happen, at the moment, what the game is doing is showing you tier 2. So you will have well, actually, wait. Yeah, exactly. You will have, as soon as you fill this bar, what happens is that the game shows you this lit, and then is showing you this bar empty, right? This bar becomes empty again. This bar becomes empty again. Oh my god, I need to feel, otherwise it will take me forever. Okay. This bar is empty again. Now the question is, how do you know that tier 1 is decaying? Consider that you just look at tier 2, right? How do you see it? You don't see it, actually. You don't see it. You don't see it. You don't see it. You don't see it. That's shit, really. You don't see it. You need another bar. We need another bar. There's no way. We need another bar here. We need another bar. Yeah, we need another bar. Or we can have no, we need another bar, because having another color, I mean, like having two colors on top of the same bar is super confusing. We did it already in the past, and it's super confusing. But then what happens? Let's say that I have. I think this thing is not gonna work, guys. I have a bad feeling about it. Let's say that this is tier 1. So he's telling you very clearly, tier 1 bonus in effect, right? Tier 1 bonus in effect, and he's also tell you which tier bonus is, right? So he's saying tier 1 bonus in effect, I don't know, speed plus 20%. And then here you are working on tier 2. And you see this bar, right? And this bar is slowly going down. So city is consuming the materials, right? The city is consuming the materials. So you see this thing going down slowly. And at a certain point, after 8 hours, a piece of it is gone, right? What is the problem? Is that, yes, you keep the tier 1 bonus effect. You keep it. But can you put materials on it? This is what I don't understand. Can you put materials on tier 1? In theory, no, because the game is showing you here tier 2, right? Oops, sorry. The game is showing you here tier 2. So tier 1 is like a clock, right? It's like a clock. I think that we have to do it that when it's achieved, you cannot contribute anymore to it. So it's like a timeline. Yeah, it's like a progress bar, but you cannot contribute any materials here. It will just go down, right? It will just go down. It will just go down, and you keep your tier 1. So probably you should not even see this progress bar. Or maybe you can see it with a tier 1 name on top. And you can see here like a tier 2 name on top. So it is more understandable. Or you see nothing, right? Or you see nothing, it's just telling you the city is consuming the materials. It at a certain point, because then the problem is the next step, right? So if you don't contribute anything to tier 2, when this goes to 0, you will lose the tier 2, you will lose this. Well, you will go back to tier, yeah, you will go back to the previous tier. But if you contributed a bit, this is what I don't understand, right? What happens if you contributed a bit? What happens? You contributed that much, right? To tier 2. To tier 2. And tier 1 goes to 0. And tier 1 goes to 0. So what the hell happens at that point? You lose it all? Seems to be pretty bad. Tier 2 material transfer to tier 1? Depends, because tier 2 materials can be completely different. Can be completely different, right? Can be completely different. Or we completely delete this concept of tiers, or we completely delete the concept of tiers. It's a bit of a pity, because I organized everything in tiers, but or we say that tier 1 you never lose it, but if we say you never lose it, then or another way could be that if this is decaying, right? Yeah, but if this is decaying, you have to contribute materials again. It sounds like a pain. No. I don't want to contribute anything to tier 1. Tier 1, I funded it. Tier 1, I funded it. I want to last 1 week. That's it. I want it to last 1 week. I don't want to do anything with tier 1 for 1 week. But when it goes to 0, if you are working on tier 2, I don't know what happens, right? This is what I don't know what happens. This is the problem I have. So the way I want it is that you add resources to tier 1 and you get the bonus when you reach you get the bonus when you complete it, right? When you complete it. Then the game shows tier 1 bonus active, and you can start working on tier 2, right? Tier 1 starts to decay, right? Start to decay, but you will not lose the bonus. You will not lose the bonus until tier 1 is fully depleted, right? This to me is a must, okay? This to me is a must. Is a must. So if I funded my tier 1, I want my bonus for a week, right? No matter what. The problem is that I'm already working on tier 2, and so what happens if I added some materials to tier 2 and tier 1 is fully depleted? If fully depleted. Okay, I lose the bonus of tier 1. But in theory, I should restart funding tier 1, right? But I should restart funding or contributing to tier 1 again, right? Tier 1 again. The problem is that I already added materials to tier 2. Well, they can stay there in theory. They can stay there because we store no, we don't store material by tier. That's the problem. But I think we should. If we store material by tier, I think that those materials will just stay there. And you will find them again when you fully fund tier 1. Yeah, I think this is the way I should do it. I think this will fix it because so basically tier 2 will be locked, right? But the materials will stay. The materials will not transfer to tier 1 because transferring them to tier 1 is a mess. Because if we have different type of materials, it's not gonna work. It's like if you put it in a different bucket, right? In a different area. Let me see what ChatGPT says. Consider that tier 1 and tier 2 can have completely different type of materials, right? I think it will say that just you freeze them. I think you freeze them is the only way. Option 1, tier 2 progress is paused until tier 1 is restored. Exactly, this is what I was thinking. You see, ChatGPT came to the same conclusion as me. I mean, it's actually pretty smart, I have to say. Or we are both dumb, which is a possibility. Once tier 1 is depleted, all progress in tier 2 is frozen. Yeah. Players must restore tier 1 first before they continue contributing to tier 2. Materials already added to tier 2 remain stored, but they are not counted until tier 1 active again. Yeah, I think this is the best solution. Keep the system structure and force player to maintain the base for... Yeah, no loss of invested materials. Option 2, if tier 1 is fully depleted, materials in tier 2 decay over time. Materials in tier 2 decay over time. No, this is not possible for me. No, it's not possible. Because it's a mess. I don't want you to see two screens. I want you to see only one screen at a time. Because switching between tiers is messy. It's messy and it's hard to understand. And I think it's not nice. The decay could be slower than tier 1. Tier 1 is fully depleted, players start losing tier 2 progress by 5% per day. If the player restores tier 1 before tier 2 fully declares, keep the word remain. No, I don't like it. Option 3. When tier 1 is fully depleted, portion of the resources of tier 2 is funded back to the player. No, we cannot because they can be contributed by different people. You may not have the inventory available, the inventory space available. So this is absolutely impossible. Obviously, ChatGPT doesn't know it, but it's absolutely impossible. Yeah, you can lose them, right? But just lose them is tough. My recommendation, a hybrid of option 1 and 2. So tier 2 progress freezes if tier 1 is depleted. If tier 1 is not restored within a certain time, tier 2 decays slowly. If tier 2 is restored, tier 2 progress immediately resume from where it was. Yeah, this one is something that we could do as well, right? At tier 2 anyway. I mean, when tier 1 is fully depleted, I think that tier 2 will also decay. Yeah. But then this means, right? This means that we have... I think we will do option 1, but I think this means that we have to store resources by tier. So we are missing a column here. Now, if I do this change, right? If I do this change, that anyway is a change to the database and everything. Isn't it better that I just add a column here that is actually the storage? I don't know why I didn't do it from the beginning. I think I didn't do it from the beginning because I wanted these resources to be separate from the tiers. But I think it's a bad idea. So I think that this one will actually be deleted. This one will be deleted, and I will add a storage column here. I know it's annoying, but what the hell? These are several benefits. These are several benefits because is skipping a lot of the bugs that we already fixed them, but it's skipping a lot of the bugs, and it allows us to basically store materials by tier, so I can have the tier 2 still being available while the tier 1 is fully depleted, just in a frozen state, and then it may start to decay. I think I like this. The problem is that it requires significant changes. But I think it simplifies the code a lot. Do we want to do it? Yes, I think I want to do it. The problem is that, so it basically means that this structure we delete completely, and we add storage to this structure. And so this means that when we load, yeah, but I think it's a better design actually. This means that when we load, we will not have any more resource need and resource storage. Right? We will just have load city resources. We will just have load city resources. And this one will be deleted. And load city resources will fill in. Crap. Will fill in. Will fill in the storage as well, right? We'll fill in the storage as well. And basically this will not exist anymore. Holy fuck, this thing was huge. Why this thing was so big? Because it was basically a repetition of this. It was a full repetition of this. Okay, so I have the so I have the storage here, right? Now we need to find everywhere in the code where we have this thing. Holy shit. It's a million places, obviously, right? Obviously, it's a million places. So this goes away completely. This goes away completely. I mean, it's a bit of a change, guys, but it's a better design. So I think we should do it this way. It's a better design. It's a better design. It's more reusable. And also it pairs with the logic of the resources being organized by tier and being able to be frozen. My only thing is don't destroy resources not used in the process. Yes, tier 2 resources will stay. Now, I don't think they can stay forever, right? Do you want them to stay forever or do you want them to decay? Well, they may stay forever actually. They may never decay. The tier 2, if it's frozen, right? If it's frozen, it's frozen. They are there, they stay there, right? Now, the only trick that you can do then at that point is that you fund tier 2 up to 99%. You fund tier 2 at 99%. Then you let tier 1 decay. And then you fund tier 1 fully and just the remaining of tier 2. So basically in one shot, you get to tier 3, right? But that's a more of a technique. I mean, it's not really cheating the system because anyway, you paid the resources you wanted, right? So yeah, I think tier 2 may stay forever. Yeah, tier 2 may just stay. Everything that is frozen, every level that is frozen, I think it just stays. Yeah, I think so. Extract resource and storage by city. Yeah, you see like here now, right? If I have only one array, it's so much easier because one table is so much easier because I don't have to do this anymore. Right? Because I can read the storage directly. Yeah, exactly. All this is useless now. Because I have my one resource storage. I think it was a good idea at the beginning, but I had a different design in mind. But this one is much cleaner. This is identical, there is no problem. This has been deleted, and here is the same. And at the end, right, at the end, this is simplifying this thing incredibly. Because I don't have to do this anymore. Let me think about it. New quantity. No, I always do quantity plus storage, right? I always do quantity plus storage. I always do. There is not needed anymore. 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 Yeah, the code is like 10 times simpler with the combination of those two tables. Now, here I'm sure I don't have to do an insert because the table is the same table. So I just need to update this table, adding the storage, right? So this will be an update. Yeah, it is really easier. It is really easier. Wait. Wait a second, I did something stupid. I did something very stupid. I don't have a... Oh, this one was wrong then. I didn't have... I didn't have... I don't know, I did. It was here. One city, yeah, exactly. So we do set storage, right? Where city ID tier and category. So those three needs to be, right? Needs to be, and tier, please. And tier equal to this, and whatever. And this equal to this, right? Yeah. So, and here we have one needs storage as the first parameter, and then we have CTID. I need to add a tier, and tier. Oh fuck! And tier I don't have. Why don't have tier in this? No, that is not good, huh? I need a tier. I mean, in theory, the tier is the current tier, so I can just derive it. But I don't know if I really want to derive it, or I want to, you know, because we actually have the tier. Handle city resource player gave. Yeah, in theory, he can only give resources to the current tier, right? He cannot give resources to any other tier. So the tier could be derived. The tier could be derived. True. It's basically this guy, right? It's basically this guy. We can do it at the beginning. And then we pass, current tier. It is a big change, guys, so, but anyway, is needed. I'm committed to do it. It is kind of, well, it's a bit, I mean, it's not a lot of code change, but it will be, I mean, we have to retest pretty much everything. It's okay, I think it's easy to test. Okay. So now we also have tier. Wait, let's just organize things the same way, otherwise this is a mess, huh? Okay. So it's city category tier. City category tier. Okay. Then item ID. Yeah, absolutely. It's actually called item stats ID. So storage, city, category, tier, item ID. Okay. Okay. Now the code also here will be simpler, because when we do the check for the tier change, we just have to check one table instead of two. Right? So it's way simpler. So this is yeah, it is only like this. Okay. Okay, do we still have that anywhere? Do we still have this anywhere that is not a comment? No. Okay, good. So we basically deleted it. Okay, nice. Now, a lot of stuff will break on the blueprint side, but it's fine. Now, the other problem is that when I do the check, let me think about it. When I do, because when I do the update it's fine, but when I'm sending the data to the client, right? I mean, this is okay, this is okay. But when I'm sending, yeah, here. When I'm sending the data to the client, yes, I did it already. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, because this is the only point where, yeah, actually on the blueprint, considering that we are always using this intermediate table that is called resource status, actually it may work, because we actually created a separate table just to send to the client, right? A separate, sorry, structure. So it may be fine. By the way, if you are a developer, we have been sponsored. We have been sponsored by JetBrains, right? And they gave us a discount coupon if you want to use it. Advertising time. Bling bling. What is that? They gave us a discount coupon if you want to use it to buy JetBrain Rider, which I think is a very good product. Is the one that you see that we are using right now. I've been using Visual Studio for a long time, and when I moved to Rider, it really made a difference. So if you go to this address, which is jetbrain.com/store personal, right? You get a 25% discount for a personal annual license for the first year. So if you are interested into that, if you just want to buy, if you want to buy an IDE, and the IDE is not very costly, right? So it's a 25 discount on that is very reasonable. At the end, the cost is very reasonable. So, bling bling, end of advertisement. Okay, so yeah, but it was great. They gave us basically the whole suite of products, including DataGrip, including PHP Storm, and so it was very nice. It was very nice of them. Okay, so this recompiles. Let me see. Now, in theory, the change is only what I did now, right? So I'm not expecting any major issue. And yes, I will have to drop this table. Those city resources will be dropped. And city resource tiers, we need to add a new column. That is actually stored. I should have done it this way from the beginning, but actually I was thinking to do it differently. So, and actually I'm happy that that we changed it. No, the default should be 0. Theory should not be null. Okay, let me see if something breaks or not. No, nothing breaks. Fantastic. Yeah, because we use the interface. So, okay, so in theory nothing breaks, boys. So the change is already done. Oh my god, I'm like amazed if this is true. Probably yes. So if the change is already done, the two tables are already merged, and I'm already sending the data with the storage properly, right? Now, going back to our discussion, now I can store, so the tier 2 stuff will be stored there, right? Will be stored in tier 2. And now the problem is that we need to implement a sort of decay of of tier 1. How do we know which is the tier that should decay? Well, good question. Well, the tier that should decay is the tier -1, right? Or no, is the current tier, because we are storing the current tier and then we are looking at the resources for the next tier. So the one that should decay is this one, yes. So I need a decay function. Now we will speed up this a lot. So now it will probably decay every 10 seconds now, right? Just to test. Where is PS const? Come on, PS const is here. Okay, we will add a new constant variable that we will call. We have all our variables here. So we will define a new variable that is CT consumption. Seating consume time, right? And this will be in seconds, and for now will be 10 seconds. So seconds for 1 tick of CT decay, right? Seconds for 1 tick of CT decay. Now the amount of decay, I think it should be another variable. So the amount, I think it should be in percentage, and we said like 2%, right? If I say 2%, I will go crazy. So because it will take me like 50 seconds to decay fully. Okay, let's say 10 seconds. Now, do you want to see it real time so that I'm sending you the updated information, or you just reopen the screen? So we have CT consume time and CT consume amount. Okay, we can tweak as much as we want. Would be probably better if this go actually in a configuration file instead of being in the code, but it's fine for now. So what do we have to do? We have to create a new timer, right? A new game event, right? A new game event. And to create a new game event, we can just search for game event. No. Game event with 2E, yeah. For example, I think a simple tick. I mean, this thing is basically a tick, right? It's nothing else than a tick. So we have like NPC tick, or yeah, like this guy. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much like this guy. It's just a tick. And we will call it UPS CT consume tick. CT consume tick, right? And the only parameter is the delay. No, because is the city consuming all the tiers at the same time of all the categories? Yes, it is. So actually the tick is 1, and then it's checking if there is anything to consume, right? But then we need to keep the consumption. Oh yes, we need to keep the consumption, my boys. Where do we keep the consumption? We need to know how much we consumed, right? Percentage wise. So it's like a number from 0 to 100, and it cannot be here. I think it's another table. I think it's another table. Because I cannot put it, I mean, in theory, I cannot, no, because it must be by tier. Might be by tier, but I don't want to do it by, item, right? So it cannot be this table. It cannot be this table. It cannot be this table. So it must be a city consume status, or city consume progress, or city consume. City consume status. Where you basically have you basically have the city ID, yes, the tier, the city categories, right? The tier, city ID, city category. So is this the I mean, this should be a percent, right? This should be a percent. For example, 0.4. Or we can do from 0 to 100. Is the same. Do we need anything else in this table? Do we need anything else in this table? So I'm storing. So if the percent is 0, means what? Means that it is fully decayed, right? It is fully decayed. But if it's fully decayed, basically the entry should not exist. So basically when it's achieved, right? When it's achieved, we put in a 1. And then we go down, 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 down until we reach 0. And when it's 0, we delete the line. Right? So when the server starts, it will have to read the current consume status and keep it in memory so that we can always, right, restart from the current consumption. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so we need a new table, boys. We need a new table. We can reuse this one that we just deleted. Well, actually, we didn't delete. We can reuse this one. So city consume status will have, as we said, city ID, city, yeah, and then it will have like all the others, the tier. I've seen that we have set the tier. Before the category. Okay, let's do it the same. Okay, so we have tier 0, and then we have only the percent, we said. Only the percent. Only the percent. So this primary key, I can delete it. Actually, I can add tier if you want. Huh? Fuck. One tier just achieved. This value goes down with time, right? Now we never want to have. We never want to have. We never want to have a city, category, and tier that are repeated, right? So I will add the key just to be sure, right? Because this should never repeat. Yeah. Ah, sorry. The percent is a float, huh? Okay. The point is that this data, yeah. Now this data needs to be consistent with the city information, right? If it's not consistent, then we have a problem. So in terms of parameters of the consumption, we need a what? We need a city, tier, and category, right? So each one should take that. Well, I think all the cities are ticking at the same time. Yes, all the cities are ticking at the same time. It makes no sense to do it differently, right? Yeah, all the cities are ticking at the same time. So it's one tick for everything. Right? Is one tick for everything. And basically what here we should do, we should analyze all the cities. So we should check all the cities and do what? And we should look at what? We should look at the tier, we should look at the achieved tiers. Because I think if as soon as we achieve a tier, we create the entry for the consumption, right? So in reality, I can just check the consumptions here. So we assume a new entry is created as soon as we reach a tier, right? Yeah, exactly. This is the best assumption, so we don't have to do the check twice. The stream went down. Something happened with the stream. Hello? I think the stream went down. for a second. Anyway, so let me create the structure that we use. Yeah, it went down a second. I don't know why. Okay, so I think we have a plan. So the plan here so here we need what? Here we need the city, the category, and as usually we need the tier. We need the tier. We don't need the item stats, we don't need the storage, but we need the percentage, right? Which starts with, I think the default is 1 actually. Let's call it percent. It's a bit shorter. Okay. Okay, so now we have this new structure, right? Yeah, we're back. Yeah, because I saw for a second like zero viewers, and I said, wow, 0 viewers. It's impossible because Hula is always here, right? I saw 0 viewers. I said, well, it's impossible. Okay, so by the way, thank you, Hula, for being so present all the time. It's very cool to have people that are following. Wait a second, I need to check. I commissioned some stuff for the alien female. So there is someone working on it. Let's see if we can make it. The one in the middle I think is a bit weird. I think the left is the best. Okay, I answered. So now what? Okay, so we have this structure now. So when our city manager starts, right, we need to be able to load need to be able to load this, right? I will just delete now this function because I think I set my mind that this is done, right? There is a change I want to do. So anyway, we have it in Subversion. I committed all of this, so it's fine. So this table is city consume status. Or we could have called it city consumption actually. But anyway, that is fine. Order by city ID ascending because we want to split it by city, right? Yes. So it is pretty much the same. That is kind of the same. Definitely need to create a new variable that keeps that in place. Right. So I'm reusing heavily the previous one that we deleted just because it's similar. I mean, because it's just another table with stuff in it, right? Assuming that the names that we used are the same. And I think they are. Nah, this is not needed anymore. Okay. So this is basically loading. We have to test it, but this is basically loading that table, the resource consumption now. I think it should instantly start the decay, right? I don't know if I want to start it instantly or not, but I would say yes. So as soon as this is called, right? As soon as this is called, I think we can create our new start the first tick for city consumption, right? So this tick will always be there forever now. Now, yeah. So this will start a new timer every 10 seconds at the moment, because we defined it as 10 seconds. And it is happening after the city manager is initialized, right? So the game may not be fully up yet, but I think we will be pretty close to that. So I think I'm fine to do this. And this will repeat forever, right? This every tick will schedule the next tick. Right? Every tick will schedule the next tick. Yeah. And I think I will have to change all these ones to be like this, because otherwise it generates a bit of an annoying effect on the editor. And anyway, I can do them one by one slowly. Okay, so basically what we have to do, we have to check. We have to check all the consumption entries. We have to check all the consumption entries and reduce them by 1, right? I mean, reduce them by the amount that we decided to reduce it. So this will actually cause a significant database, because we are, I mean, potentially if we have 4 cities, right, and each one has 6 different. Yeah, exactly. Can we do it in one shot? That would be a good idea, I think. I'm thinking, what if we add, I know it's a bit brutal, right? But what if we add nah, maybe it's not a good idea. I was trying to save one line. For the 6 categories in one city. The problem is that the tier can be different. But the tier is always the same tier, right? Now, because otherwise we have to write, like, the worst case, right? The worst case, we have to write 6 by 4. I mean, it's not a lot, but 24. We have to do 24 database updates in 1 second, right? If all the tiers of all the cities are decaying. Now, that's unlikely, but It's a bit annoying that we have to enter that much data in one shot, right? I mean, I could, right? I could have. The only problem is that if I have tier 1 category 1, tier 2 category 2, tier 3 category 3, right? And I have to update only one. Well, I will touch that line, but so it will be like 12. It will be like 12 columns, right? It will be 12 columns, but we will do one database insert instead of 6. So the effect is fairly big, right? The effect is fairly big. So it's 1 to 6. Is 1 to 6. Do we want to do it? Is it a stupid idea? So basically what I will do tier category 1, city category 1, then tier category 2, city category 2, right? And so on. And then we will have to check. Now the disadvantage of this is that when we load, well, no, there is not really big disadvantage, because when we load the full thing, and then when we trigger, considering we trigger them all together, we just check all the numbers, we lower all the numbers, and we store all the numbers. And then when we want to read it, because we have to send it to the client, we will have to read the proper category. So we have to do a switch, right? We have to do a if category blah blah blah, then read this value, which is a bit annoying, but it's all in memory, right? It's not on the database. I think we want to reduce the database hits as much as possible, because those are fairly expensive. So all in all, seems to be a good idea to me. And when it's 0, it means it's not decaying. But I will have to update the tier. Wait, when I change tier though, I will have to update the consume. Yeah, but that's the case anyway, because when I'm reaching a tier, I'm automatically starting the consume, and so I will have to create an entry. And the difference is that here I will update an entry instead of creating an entry. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, it's obviously if you have to change the categories, then it will be a mess, but okay, let's do it. Can I duplicate it? No. The value here is always 0 and the value here is always 1. Well, in theory, it cannot be the same category. No, wait a second. I don't need it. I don't need the category thing, right? Yeah, I don't need it. It's just tier cat 1, cat 2, cat 3. Yeah, absolutely. But then I need the percent to be different, right? So I need percent 1, percent 2, percent 3. Because category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are already defined. is infrastructure, agriculture, right? So these are completely defined. So in theory, I could even call it cat infra, right? But I prefer to leave it generic. Okay, 1 second, because it's probably easier if I do it. It's probably easier if I just do it manually, because I have to just copy paste, right? At this point, the uniqueness doesn't exist anymore. Well, the uniqueness is actually CTID. Yeah, so you cannot have 2 by C. Yeah, exactly. And the comment here is by city keeps track of the consumption status. I don't think we should repeat the comment all the time. I think I can put it in the first one and that's it. So I will have like this tier cat 3% 3 and oops, come on, and tier cat 4% 4, and so we only write one line, right? I think so. I mean, it's an optimization. I think it's a significant optimization though, because the percent start with 1, right? While the category starts with wait, the category starts with no, I mean the tier start with 0, the percent start with 1. Yeah. Yes. Okay, I think we can drop this table. I think we can drop this table and we can create it again from the script, so it's easy. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now this needs to be in sync with our city tiers, right? Because if you are at tier 0, you cannot have something here, right? But that's fine. So for example, we have our hospitality at 1, right? So we will set this at 1, so we can test we can set infrastructure at 1. And so now in my consume status, I can add for city 1, I can add I think I can add everything, and then I will just zero out. So this needs to be all zeroed out in theory at the beginning. Yeah, so in theory the best would be when you create a line. So when we create a new city, so we need for all 4 cities, we need these lines to be created, right? We will not create new lines. So we have to initiate, I think so. I think so. Ah. So for every or we create it programmatically. We could also create it programmatically. I think it's probably cleaner. So that I check the cities that I have. If I don't find an entry in this table, I'm creating an entry. Yeah, I think it's cleaner actually. Or I create an entry only when I have some decay going on. Yeah, well, that's the same. It's pretty much the same. Okay, fine. So let's go. Let's load. Now that we need to load this thing, right? Right. So this now becomes. And I don't need a category anymore because we have it in the implicit, right? So this is infrastructure pretty much. Right? And this is whatever is the list, I don't remember, but whatever is the list. Infrastructure, hospitality, crafting. Let me put them together so at least it looks like it's the same. I think we can avoid a comment a second time so we don't spam comments for nothing. And fate, education, agriculture. Faith, education, Okay, so we have all the 6 in place now. Yeah, this constructor I think is kind of insane. Probably we never use it. I think we will just set the one that we want because all the others already have a default, so I think we will not use this constructor because it will be too long to use, I guess. I mean, I can keep it there in comments, but I don't think we will use it. Okay, so now now when we load, so with this new idea, right? So we introduce a bit of a new idea, but I think it's fine. So we will have to do this 6 times. Okay, GG. GG. This is just because we have 6 categories, right? And so we have to do this mess. I know it looks a bit ugly, but I think it's better. Otherwise, I have to, you know, update the database. I mean, keep the database. I need to write like 6 things all the time, and I mean, every time we do an update, we have to re-update, you know, to like, and if in the future we will use this system for outpost and other things, then we will have like, I don't know, maybe 50 insert in one second, right? And I don't know if I really want to do that. While here, at least we are reducing it by a factor of 6. Now, some of this may not be applicable to an outpost, right? But I think this is a bit forward looking. Now, okay, so here we load that thing. Here we load, so we have the structure, we have the database, and we have the loading. Right? Now we need to initiate the tick, right? We need to initiate, no, the tick we initiated, because we have it in the loading here. So now inside the tick, right, I have to check all the consumption schedules for all the cities and see if there is any that I have to go, if there is any that I have to affect, right? So where do we go? We go by city or we go by, no, I think we go by consume, right? Right. What is the name? Resource consumed by city, yeah, exactly. So now, am I adding this to the right array or no? Not at all. Ah, yes, I am. Here I'm reading the wrong value. Okay. So there is one consume, right? Why doesn't like this? Ah, fuck, because he's in city. Yep, he's in city. Is in city, so I have to do city manager this, but this is actually should I just call city manager instead of doing it here in the trigger? Probably yes, because it's cleaner. Yeah, let's do it. Lower all consumption values as needed. So we will call city manager. So we'll create a new function in city manager and we will call it consume resources, right? And this consume resources will be one tick happened, consume the resources, right? I think we don't need anything else than just I don't think it needs any parameters or anything. Huh? Wait. confused a second. Can we do the same? I know, because here we go by city. Yes, yes, but yeah, but fine. I cannot iterate on that. I cannot iterate on. Why? No, I think I can. Why not? The difference is that this is. I forget all the time. How was it? It was t pair of int and this. Wait. Yeah, and then a value. Okay. Like this? No. Doesn't like me. It doesn't like me because this is also a pointer. No, it doesn't like me at all. Why it doesn't like me at all? Can I convert it tuple star star to... Yeah, because that is also... yeah, I know. But if I do this, no? This looks a bit scary, but this looks a bit scary, but it should be fine. So we get the address of that, and then we convert it to a t pair of our, because basically what I mean, the other way would be to extract the keys, right, and just go by key. We can also do that if it's less scary, but I think it's fine, right? Because we don't really need this. We don't need the city ID. We don't care. So, well, we don't care. Actually, no, we care, because if a tier is fully consumed, you lose the bonuses, right? Yeah, now the bonuses is a completely other, is a completely different discussion, but basically this is my city ID, right? And this is my one resource. Well, one consume, I would say. Right? So what do we want to do? We want to... I don't know what I want to do here. I don't know what I want to do. What we want to do here is so basically here we have the consumption. We want to reduce it by the amount, and we want to, because here we are going by city, right? So we basically want to check if any of the values is lower than... Yeah, exactly. So we want to check if one consume of %1 is greater than 0, right? Exactly, this is what we want to do. If it's greater than 0, then it means that we have to lower it, right? We have to lower it by amount with a cap to 0. How do I do the cap in a smart way without 20 lines of code? I don't know. But basically I want to do this. I want to have my 1%, right, minus 0.2, no, minus CT consume amount, right? But I want to be sure that that is no lower than, zero. Well, in theory, okay, fine. That is not lower than zero, right? Even if it's lower than zero, we will ignore it. We will ignore everything that is lower than zero. So it's fine. We will just do minus the amount. Yeah, we just do minus the amount and fuck it. We will ignore if it's lower than zero. So we basically have to do the same, right, for all the others. One, two, three, four, five, six. No, not 7. So we do the same for %2, %3, %4. So we are basically lowering, lowering all the values of the specific. No, I fucked up. Okay, right? So we lower all the value if they are greater than 0, and then I would say if there is at least one that is actually changed. So we need a change happens, right? So unfortunately, I need to do this. Yeah, but I want to write to the database only if really needed, right? So I don't want to write to the database if... Oh fuck, so now I have to redo it all. No! And this will never work because opening and closing. No! Okay, fuck it. Could I do it with a loop? No, because the variable name is different. Unfortunately. Wow, what is happening with the music? La la la, it's something super epic. Elden Ring, yeah, it's probably a big monster. Lich Dragon. We are killing a Lich Dragon. Okay, so if this is true, if at the end of this, right, for that particular city, so if something changed, then we are going to write it to database, right? And to write it to database, we just do an insert, right? Well, let me just search it here, maybe. Wow, there is no insert in City Manager. Oh no. Because we want to do the update on duplicate. We want to do the on duplicate or no? No, it's not here. You're not inserting anything? What do you mean? We're not updating anything? We're only updating. Okay. Now I'm thinking, should I assume that every city already has a value or not? I think yes, because the tier, we said that when we boost the tier, we create the entry, right? When we boost the tier, we create the entry. So in theory, this is well depends, because depends. No, I think it's easier if I create them all at the beginning. because this tick is already running immediately. I know, but this tick happens only for the ones that we have loaded, right? So yeah, I think I should assume that, yeah, I assume that I have the entry already, so it's just an update. Yeah, it's an update. It's an update, boys. It's an update. It's an update. It's an update, yes. It's an update. It is. It is, it is, it is, it is. It is. So, if this happens, we will update this thing. And we will set... I don't think we care about the tier, right? Do we care about the tier? No, we don't care about the tier. Because the tier is automatically, is correct. So we assume that it's correct. Now, I may have a tier 2 that is not active and is not decaying. Interesting. No, but the tier 2 will decay. No, it's impossible. No, it's only one. No, it's impossible. It's only one tier at a time. So we just have to set all the percent again, right? So we have to do set percent for 6 times. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, where CTID equal to whatever. Yeah, exactly. And the tier we don't care. Yeah, exactly. And the CTID will be our one CT, and pretty much that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Now... Oh, fuck. We don't have the CTID. Well, we have it in consume. Exactly. And then we need all the percent. And these are all float, by the way. Can you do percentage F in? I think so, right? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, city is a real city. Oh, wow. Okay, city ID. So this will basically do the update. So we will see the numbers going down, right? So in theory, we can already test just this piece of our tick actually working, right? And reducing our values in the database. So for example, if in the database I put my percent to 1, right? Every 10 seconds, we want to see this guy go down, right? We want to see this guy go down. Okay, let me recompile 1 second and see where we are, because I lost a bit track of where we are. What happened? What the hell? I didn't press. Is building. This is the same issue I had already. Yeah, the problem is here. Okay, I think that this syntax is a bit annoying. Okay, so let's do this. Because this syntax is a bit annoying. Let's get all the keys, right, of this, right? So if I get all the keys of my T map, this will return a T array of int, right? These all the cities city IDs, right? This will be all my city IDs, and then we go, and then here we just yeah, and then just we do this, right? So we don't go crazy, because otherwise, and then what? He wants it in a stupid way. Okay, fine. And then boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I don't understand what city name. And then we do find, right? Of our one city ID, right? And this will return, and this will return a one consume, right? Okay, so I think this is a bit easier. What? Wait a second. T map of city. There is a T array of okay. I forgot to, yeah, because now it's only one. Yeah. Now it's like this. So I loaded it wrong? What the hell? I loaded it wrong. No, because when I did the change between yeah, because now we have one city at a time, right? One city at a time. So sorry, I'm a bit confused, but I think it should be like this. It is completely useless. Because now we have one city only, right? So we have one record, one city. So this current city, whatever, is not, it's not needed anymore. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. This is just the number of. This is just the number of this. We don't need anything else. Just the number of this. Yeah. Just the number of days. So this resource count actually is not needed at this point. Can't remove it. Okay, fine. So now that we have that, okay, let me recompile. The T map is just used to get an easier access to the city, right? But to have an entry point by city ID, but yeah. Yes, boys. I'll resolve this. Yes, because this is the two string that actually I didn't. How was this thing done? Stupid like that. Okay. Yeah, it's very. It's just a way to say. Why is this virtual? I don't understand. Because it was in the same class. Yeah, but actually, yes. Actually, yes. Actually, yes. Why I have to put it here? It's just confusing. Put it here and GG. It's just a stupid function to return the name of an event so that we understand what event is it. But is yeah, just for the queue. If you analyze the queue of events, you may know what is the name of the queued event. But fine. Ooh. Let me see how. Let me see a few things. Okay. ToString must not be overloaded. Must not be overloaded abstract member of function UPS game event. Illegal. Sorry, because there is this. No. Pam, 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 pam. Okay, compiled. That's pretty good. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to start the server, right, normally. If we want to see this percent going down. I don't know if it will happen, but we will see. That is our tick into the right, into the consumption of resources, and this will be just a percent of all the resources going down. Now you will not see the number of resources or anything. It's just a number. It's just a thing, right? That tells you basically how long those resources are gonna last for that tier and for that boost. Uh-oh. Unknown field tier 1 requested from the SQL row. I think I messed up something. I probably have the table name wrong. Possible. No. Select star from city consume status. Loaded 9 resources for 2 cities. Unknown field tier 1. What do you mean? Ah, because I called it tier category 1. No! Okay, fine. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Percent, I called it percent, right? Okay, thank you. Do we want to call all this also cat? Oh my god. In theory, yes. I mean, you want to keep it the same, otherwise when you read the code you go crazy understanding what is what, right? So if one is named one way, you want everything to be named the same way. Sorry, my bad, I just fucked up here. Just fucked up a bit. But we can fix it very easily. Yeah, now he will complain again because here now. Okay, this one are okay, but now when we do the insert or when you do the update, this will be all wrong. No, because we don't care about the tier. Actually, why we even read it? That's a good point, though. Why do we even have the tier there, considering that only one tier can decay at the same time? There is probably... good question, actually. Do we need to read at which tier we are? Because then when we are... well, yeah, in theory, yes, because when we go to 0, well, but we can read from the city. Because when we reach 0, we will have to bump down, right? We will have to bump down that tier. So basically here we will have to say if the percentage is now 0, or below 0. If the percentage is below 0, then you need to trigger the removal of the bonuses and all of that, right? So actually you will have to downgrade the city. Yes. So in theory, if this happens, So basically, if the new percent, right, if the new percent is less than is less or equal to 0, if the new percent is less or equal to 0, and the new percent is, yeah, we will have to call a function which is kind of a downgrade, right? Which is a sort of a downgrade. So we will have to change tier. I don't know. We had a change tier. Do we use the same change tier or not? Check tier change. But check tier change was going up pretty much, not down. In theory, we should call it check tier upgrade. I don't want to touch this function because it's already complex enough. Yeah, but in theory, yes. In theory, we could reuse this function. The problem is that this function is going only up. It's going only up like the game. I'm thinking if I want to call this function and make it smarter, or I want to reuse, because the problem is, right, the problem is that this one is different though. Yeah. This one I forgot. This one I forgot. So here we need to do an update of what, of city resource tiers. And we will have to set what? We will have to set the storage to 0, where the city ID is that, the city category is that, and the tier is what? Oh my god, my brain is gonna explode. The tier is the current tier or the next tier? The tier is the current tier or the next tier? No, it's the current tier. It's the current tier because tier number 2 is the one that we are initiating. Tier number 1 is the one that we want to. But you know, it's not really needed. No, it is needed. It is needed. It is needed. So we go to 2 and we reset tier 1 to 0. check for some category next year. Okay, we'll see if it works. It should be okay, but okay, no, what I was saying is that if you want to make this piece reusable for plus and minus, right? Because in theory, plus and minus are using the same thing. So the difference is that here we are checking the tier change, the tier going up, the tier upgrade, and there we check the tier downgrade. And then if we upgrade or downgrade, we pretty much have to do the same thing here. We have to do the same. Understand, boys? So I'm thinking if I can reuse this piece and have a delta, and the delta will be plus or minus, right? Instead of replicating all this code 2 times, because this will work anyway, this will work anyway. This will work anyway. The only difference will be this. Let me try. So basically all this code here needs to go in a new function. And the new well, actually not. From inside, yeah. This, right? Yes. This will go to change tier. Or do tier change, or like execute tier change, something like that, I don't know. Execute tier change. And execute tier change will be execute tier change. This guy needs to know the delta, right? I mean, if he's up or down, at least. He needs to know if he's up or down. And then... oh, fuck. He needs way more, because he needs the city and the category and the tier. Okay, let's pass everything. Well, he needs the city. I don't think he needs the tier, but he needs the category. So he needs the yeah, he needs this, right? Yeah, I'm doing a million changes, guys. I'm doing a million changes. I don't know what will happen. I'm doing a million changes. But it's all good, huh? It's all good, it's all good, it's all good. It's all stuff I have to do, so anyway. So basically here the thing will be, if he's up, right? So this number can be 1 or -1, depending if this is up. So if up is true, we do 1, otherwise we do -1, right? So this is basically the difference. This is basically the difference from before, right? Oops, what happened here? Yeah, this is basically a difference from before. And now the calculation of the citizen, the calculation of the happiness, the changes to the database is all identical. Is all identical, yes, it's all identical. Okay, and so now we can do this with the down, right? We can do this with the down, but I have no idea where it was, but it was somewhere. It was somewhere here, I don't know where. Consume resource. Ah, yes, here. So if our percentage goes below 0, we have to do the downgrade. Now, we need to do the downgrade only if the tier is not already 0, right? But in theory, should never happen. But we can do, I think we can do a check, right? The problem is that we don't have the city. Do we have the city in one consume? We have it. Yeah, we have the city. Okay. In one consume, we have the city, but the category is what? Is an APS city category infrastructure, right? And this will be false. Okay. Okay, so this is the shit that I have to put for every line, ensuring that I follow the same structure. So infrastructure, hospitality, and so on, right? Infrastructure, hospitality, crafting, fate, education, agriculture. Crafting, fate, education, agriculture. Okay, now I have to change all the numbers because this is all %1, %2, okay, %3, %4, %5, %6. Okay, I don't know if this will, we wrote a lot of stuff, so I'm expecting bugs here and there, but let's see. I'm expecting bugs, but let's see if now the downgrade will basically change in the city table. So what we want to see, here our percentage going down from 1 to 0 in step of 0.2, and it is the time passing. And then we want to see in city info the infrastructure going from 1 to 0. This going from 1 to 0. Right. And yeah. Exactly, my boys. I have to go at 8 p.m. So shortly I have to go, but I think anyway, a lot has been done, a lot. Okay, let's launch this thing. Now we will not really see anything logged because I didn't log anything, but as soon as the server is up, the tick should start ticking and that value should start to go down. I mean, we will see first if it's loading stuff or not. Maybe we'll give an error in the loading. Yeah, exactly. It just fantastically crashed. Okay. It just fantastically crashed inside load city resource consumption 167. Load what? All resources. I did a mistake here. Wait. No, this thing is not needed anymore. All there is no, wait. This thing is old stuff that doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist anymore, my boys. Now, wait a second. We cannot add the resource after. Wait a second. Okay. I still think we may not need this thing, but for now I will keep it. I don't know if we really need the tier, because assuming that we are always at the same tier, unless, you know, category 2 is decaying while category 1 is also decaying. Oh my god. What? Category, I mean tier 2 is decay. So if I am at tier 3, do you think that only tier 2 should decay, or also tier 1 should decay at the same time? No. One tier at a time. Yeah, exactly. One tier at a time. So we decay only one tier at a time. So all tier 2 needs to decay. And then we downgrade 1. And then all tier 1 needs to decay. And then we downgrade 1, right? So actually, yeah, the tier in the table is probably useless. Well, yeah, I think that this tier is useless, because even when I call the, I mean, we can leave it there, but maybe we use it for something else. But at the moment, with the current calculation that we do, it's not needed. Because here I'm not even checking the tiers, right? I mean, I'm doing it when we downgrade, right? When we downgrade, but also, yeah, you see that when we downgrade, we don't even care what tier we are. We just say we are downgrading. I think I added a bit too many useless columns. He crashed again. Why? Get time manager. We don't have yet our event on. It's possible, huh? Event manager 76. It's possible that our tick time is not loaded yet at that point. I think so. So I think we need to start the first tick later on. Wait. So basically what we are saying is that what I do here it should be moved to a new function that is something like start a tick or something. And so we need to call this now. I think we have the same problem with the NPC, right? So NPC manager, I think is I don't know if it's NPC. I don't know if it's, yeah, probably NPC manager has the same problem, right? So let me see 1 second. NPC manager. Because I think initialize is not. Tick. Yeah, but who's starting? Who's starting the stick? That's basically the question, right? Trigger tick. No, that I understand, but they should. I think is in. Wait, I think is in. So here we do init game, right? And here we are initializing all the managers, right? But I don't think we are starting the ticks until I don't remember, but I think we starting the tick only later on, after everything is no, it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. Is not in init game. Is in begin play, I think. Is in begin play, but is begin play or what? Or game state? Begin play or game state? Yeah, I think he's here actually. Yeah, I think he's here. I think he's actually here. Wait. Yeah, we initialize the NPC manager actually only in this stage. Yeah, you see that we had the brain ticks actually starting here. So, I mean, or we call here city manager. I think we can call it here. Let's try it this way. Because I think that during the initialization of city manager, is a bit too early, right? It's a bit too early, and we don't have our word processing queue, cache, whatever. Yeah, we don't. Basically, we cannot process queues yet, right? Yeah. Well, 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 well. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, started. He started, boys. So we want to see if this value changes, right? Every 10 seconds. Bro, what is this? Huh? Come on. What the fuck you want? I press F5. -9. Oh shit, -9 is a lot. -9. Because it continues to go down. No, because we say only if it's greater than 0. What? -9. What do you mean by -9? Because the amount is expressed. Wait. I did a small fuck up. The amount is 10. Yeah. Because it's in percentage. Well, then we decided to do okay. So it should be like 0.1, right? So anyway it worked because it went from 1 to -9. So he actually reduced it by 1. So it's correct. Now, let me see if he also downgraded the city. So this infrastructure from 1 should go to 0. Yes, he did it, boys. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, so basically everything worked, apart that I forgot that it was, you know. So if I go back to 1. Yeah, but it works. How many days before the new system works fine? I don't know. I mean, depends what you mean by work fine. So at the moment the left side seems to be kind of working, right? This part seems to be kind of working. Now we still and this part seems to be working. We didn't do anything on the right, right? The right is completely to be done, and also this part is completely to be done. So I would say if we really want to do it all, is still far away, like maybe 2 weeks away, right? Maybe 2 weeks. But I think what we can do, we can avoid doing this for now. So we will just do the champions and the ranking, and we will start to introduce that, right? So if we do that, I think that 1 week is probably more reasonable. But yeah, but there are a lot of, you know, variables, right? A lot of variables into it. So it's hard to give an estimate of something that you never did, right? All the stuff that we do is done for the first time, right? So it's not that we are implementing the same logic multiple times, right? Everything is completely new. So, but yeah, that's roughly 2 weeks, 1 week. That's roughly the. I don't think it's a month, right? I don't think it's a month. I don't think so. Okay, so now the server is starting. The only thing we want to see... Wait, what was that? Okay, fine. The only thing we want to see this value going down 0.1 at a time. This value, every 10 seconds, it should go down by 0.9. By 0.1. Right? Every 10 seconds. Please. Okay, 0.9. Okay, so in about a minute, this will go to 0. And when that goes to, now it's 0.8, you see? And when this goes to 0, city info will go to, infrastructure will go to 0. So basically this works, right? This is actually this timing. Now we can decide the time. At the moment it's 10 seconds. We can obviously tweak it. We can probably put these values inside a configuration file so that we don't have to change the code to change that number. But yeah, you see that it's going down, right? Okay, so now let's assume that it works. So if it works, what we will have to do, we will have in this window, only when you have one tier already achieved, we will need another bar here at the bottom, right? We will need another bar at the bottom, which is basically saying another bar at the bottom, maybe in the middle, whatever, which is saying materials, right? Which is saying like tier 1 bonus active, like we said, right? Tier 1, where did we printed it somewhere? No? Yeah. Tier 1 bonus effect, tier 1 bonus in effect, I would say active. Active cities consuming the materials, right? Or citizens, I don't know, we can say citizens are consuming the materials. And here you can have the bonus, whatever it is, right? You can say blah blah, you know, whatever blah blah it is. And then you can say citizens are consuming the materials, right? Tier 1 bonus, yeah, exactly. Citizens are consuming the materials. And this bar will tell you how much they are consuming, right? And I think that here you need only tier 1. Actually, this tier 1, right? This tier 1, I think it needs to be visible. If you are a tier 1, yeah, I think you should see like this. You should see tier 1 bonus active, higher quality goods and merchants. And then here you should see only tier 2. Because you are working on tier 2 now. And maybe should even be in the description. Because I think if you put it here, it may actually be confusing. And definitely we don't want to show tier 3. Right? So probably something like that. Okay, let me see if it did what we wanted. So this should go to 0. Yeah, this is now 0, and this one becomes 0. Yeah, exactly. Fantastic. Okay, I think it works, right? I think it works. I think it works. Now everything is stored in the database, so if the server goes down, all this data is already fully loaded, right? I mean, it's fully stored, and so it can be reloaded, right? So we don't lose anything. If the server crashes, we don't lose anything. Which is nice. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna go, but let's say I will see you tomorrow evening, 9:30 p.m. European time, and we are working on something that is fairly big here, so it will take some time, as I said, right? This is a completely new feature, completely new concept. I think we settled today on a decent idea. I think we solved many of the problems that I was envisioning, right? We still have the problem of the guild ranks, but now that we know how the tiers work and how they decay, and we have a mechanism for decay, I think it will be easier. I think it would be easier. I think we overcome a fairly complex point, right? That was completely obscure to me. Okay, guys, so see you tomorrow evening, and have a good evening, have a good night, have a good dinner if you have to eat, and yep, I will see you soon. Bye. Bye.